What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper, episode 75 of our 24-minute recaps. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on all platforms at YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, to subscribe on all social media platforms at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. So for tonight's episode, going to be a quick one. Lakers and Knicks on the agenda tonight from the Garden, and a special occasion, a historic night. The Warriors and the Nuggets. I love the result, but I even more so enjoyed the game, except for an unfortunate incident for just the neutral basketball fan with the Jamal Murray injury that we'll talk about at the end. But a historic night with the Steph Curry passing the late, great, most dominant force to ever play in the league, Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. A special night indeed when anybody passes Wilt in any statistical category. But let's start with the Lakers, who I watched a good chunk of this game, especially the second through end of the game. And I thought that you know what you're going to get when you watch the Knicks play this season. You're going to have a lockdown defensive team who knows their defensive principles, just like the Lakers do. One thing I've noticed, they really stay attached off the ball. Guys like Quickly, RJ Barrett, even Bullock, who's not the best defender, I don't think, but you know, when I saw KCP, I saw Kuz, you know, these guys are even Wes Matthews. I saw these guys staying attached off the ball, you know, not giving them much breathing space, staying close on screens. And I think that's why they are good at defending the three, because open threes come from dribble penetration and over helping. So you keep guys out of the paint and let guys not have to help by staying attached, fighting over screens. Then you don't need that extra help. And I think the Knicks do that really well. And I think you were seeing that a lot tonight, except Schroeder in the first half was getting to the basket. He had 21 points in the game, 6 assists, but he was still too careless with the ball. And the Lakers have just, without LeBron and Anthony Davis, have been extremely careless with the ball. 24 turnovers tonight. That may have been the most they've had in the entire season. 5 of them coming from Dennis, 4 of them coming from Drummond, who we'll get into in a minute. 2 from Kuz, 3 from Keith, and 1 from KCP, who I thought looked better tonight. He looked more engaged. I heard that he played better last game as well. And you know what a good KCP does to the Lakers? He was 2 of 4 from 3, that corner 3 that he's so solid at. He made 1 tonight, and then he was 5 of 10, just moving with more purpose and conviction. And, you know, it's very easy with KCP's body language to tell what mood he's in. Sometimes he looks disinterested, doesn't even want to get in the game, and he was a little better tonight. However, it was really the third quarter where the Knicks shut down the Lakers entirely. The Lakers could not score. They were trapping Schroeder a lot. And Drummond in the 4-on-3s, one at a time, the ball just slipped out of his hands. Then they came and went at him in the pick and roll. RJ Barrett started getting going, started pulling up the mid-range area. He only was 2 for 11, but his 2 shots came in this stretch in the third quarter. He was able to turn the corner and get to the rim. Drummond wasn't able to do anything about it at the rim. And then Drummond was turning the ball over and committing offensive fouls. So I thought that he was really poor. Also, Nerlens Noel got 5 offensive rebounds, 2 of which I saw him get on Drummond. He also had 4 steals to go along with his 6 points and 9 boards. Andre Drummond, 3 points, 10 rebounds. So just as easily as he had that game against the Nets, he comes back with a stinker like this. So it really went to and so the Lakers only scored 16 points in that third because you got the ball out of Schroeder's hands. Kuzma, he is, as I've said, he has not shown that he has improved in any way with his offensive scoring game. And, of course, that comes from him having gotten comfortable playing alongside Anthony Davis and, of course, LeBron, who takes up a lot of the ball. But he's just too in love with that 3 ball. 2 of 9 from 3, and then 3 of 4 from 2. Like, just stop shooting so many threes, bro. Like, you're not that nice at him. I know they're open. He's got to make more, but still, he's got to chill. He's in no position to be taking 9 threes. He's not Paul George. Keith Morris had a good offensive game, had a solid game, 17 points on 7 of 11 and 3 of 6 from 3. But that third quarter with the Lakers only scored 16 points, was tough. Montrader, 15 minutes, 0 of 4. He was getting abused in pick and roll, and he was not a presence at the rim really at all. Laker bench, THT is the best offensive player outside of Trez. And Montrader, oh my God, I slipped up there for a sec. And that's what we saw tonight. The one thing I will say about the Knicks, Julius Randle, he really came out with a vengeance tonight against his former team. And you saw the different schemes the Lakers are throwing at him, double teaming him, making him throw the cross-court pass, which, is the one thing you can do easier now in today's NBA without the illegal defense rules. That's the only thing I'll give you with that. You have to force him into the cross-court pass, but regardless, you're still leaving a guy open. And if you have turnarounds over either shoulder, which Randall, he didn't really pull out too much bully ball on post tonight in the second half. It was a lot more face up, and it was beautiful. I mean, some plays, Randall, he was just making some tough shots. He had a contested 3 at one point. There was one scramble where he got the ball and pulled up from 18. Randall has really come a long way with his shooting, with his offensive game in general. His passing has just improved tremendously. 34, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals and a block, and I thought that him and Taj Gibson did a good job protecting the rim. The Knicks defense in general, Taj had 8 points, 10 boards. The USC guy, D. Rose, 14 points. He was trying and fighting over screens as well, and quickly was also giving good effort over screens. And Elfrid Payton, what he's going to give you on defense. He had the highest plus-minus of any Knick tonight, plus 27, 20 points, was getting into the paint and hitting some floaters as well. But I thought Randall was just so impressive, man. Just double-teamed, making the right passes, but just hitting some tough shots facing up. And a very good win for the Knicks. Lakers need to take care of the ball better, move the ball better when things go tough. And also, the game started to turn in the fourth quarter when Marc Gasol came in the game. And I almost forgot that Marc Gasol even played for the Lakers anymore, or was available, I should say. And I really think, and I've said this so many times, Drummond is solid, and he gives the Lakers something different that Gasol doesn't with that bully ball interior scorer. But if you want to take Gasol out of the lineup entirely, I think that's a big problem because Montrader is already a type of guy that likes to score on the interior, and he's not great when he gets pulled into space on defense. Gasol, while not being great at being pulled into space on defense, I think is I think Drummond has a case to be a better rim protector than him, but Gasol has good verticality. He's much more positionally aware on defense. He makes a lot less mistakes. He spreads the floor, so when AD and LeBron come back, that makes it easier for them to attack the basket. And AD sometimes gets discouraged when you have a 5 that is not on the perimeter because he doesn't want to clog the paint himself, so he stands around the 18-foot, 15-foot, and I think that AD is a lot better when he's attacking the rim. And then LeBron has an easier time when he's able to attack the rim. And another thing about Gasol that's so good is that he's such a solid passer, a very good passer, and that allows guys like Schroeder and LeBron to pass and then cut, and he finds them on the cut better than anyone on the team, in my opinion. So I think that you just cannot remove him fully from this lineup. You have to find a spot for him. It may be matchup dependent come playoff time, but you saw tonight that when Mark comes in, he gives him something different, and I think that he really hasn't been as bad as a lot of people are saying. I'm really, that's what I think, but Lakers fall, and that's a good night for the Clippers just because, and the Nuggets, just various teams in the West. Blazers fans as well. Lakers are now 33-21. Knicks at 28-27. It's maybe gotten to the point now where I don't want the Lakers to lose too much anymore because I don't want to play them in the first round. That's for sure. But Knicks, yeah, very good win, 28-27. Let's move on to the Nuggets and the Warriors. So I did thoroughly watch this game, and it was a historic night in the cards. Steph Curry needed 19 points to pass the great Wilt Chamberlain, and he did it in quarter number 1 with a typical vintage Steph performance all over the place, moving without the ball, splashing threes. I mean, the Nuggets, tried to go drop coverage a couple times. Terrible idea. You can't give Steph any space at all coming off screens because it's an automatic wet ball. You can't give him any space at all. You close out too hard on him, he sidesteps for 3 and he hits it. It's just impossible. Off the ball, you got to just make someone else beat you. Hedge recover, make Draymond make the 4-on-3 read and close out on someone else is the best strategy, in my opinion, for Steph or a box and one sort of scheme. just get the ball out of his hands and try to prevent him from getting the ball, be as physical as possible. And Facundo Campasso was trying to be as physical as possible with him. But, it was hard. They're gonna call fouls. Jokic was very good again, I thought. 27 points, 12 boards, 8 assists. But Steph's start in the first quarter was just incredible. Incredible. Just splash, setting those back screens and then moving off those back screens. I thought Wiggins did a good job of attacking the basket and making good reads, kicking it out to shooters in the pick and roll. And I think that one huge reason why the Nuggets lost tonight was because we got a Draymond Green that I think they said he had a season high in points. And what have we said all season about Draymond? When he scores in double figures for the Warriors, completely different team to beat. Because when Draymond scores in double figures, he's an all-star caliber player. Because he's going to give on the defensive end, and tonight was a perfect example of what he does give. There were a couple times he got exposed by Jokic one-on-one because he's small, but there were also a couple times where he made life tough for him and forced him into a tough turnaround with a good hand in the face. And Draymond was able to rebound. He got 7 of them. It'll go along with 7 assists, pushing the ball and finding Steph, especially in the third quarter. Draymond and Steph linking up so much, especially in transition, and also with Steph just moving without the ball. There was one time where Draymond got the ball in the post. Steph cut after setting multiple screens off the ball. And Draymond was hitting his open threes. He was taking his space and getting into some floaters. It was just a great performance from Draymond all around, I thought. And he was able, even one play, he guarded Jamal Murray on the perimeter. So that just showed Draymond's versatility on that end. I thought Andrew Wiggins, 8 of 17, 17 points, very solid. Bazemore, he had his moments of being a bonehead in the third quarter, messing up in transition, missing threes, missing layups, turning the ball over. But overall, he plays tough defense, and he was still 3 of 6 from 3 in the end with 14 points. So you'll take that if you're a Warriors fan. Kevon Looney, 0 points, but he did some good things. He rebounded the ball. He had 11 of them, actually, and some solid defense as well. But Stephen Curry, it was his night completely. 53 points, 14 of 24 from the field, 10 of 18 from 3, 15 of 16 from the line. There was some chippiness in the third quarter, and it's the third quarter where the Warriors really won this game. They outscored the Nuggets 43-22 in the third. I thought Maga Porter Jr. had a good game, but was chucking too much. He was 1 for 7 from 3, but he was 10 for 14 from 2. I thought Jamal Murray, before the injury, which we'll get to in a second, 17 points, 5 of 15. But it was a Steph Curry show, man. And, Draymond helped him out, but with 18 points on 7 of 8 from the field and 4 steals for Dre. But Steph Curry, 53 points, a historic night, a night that Warriors fans were completely robbed of. And, it's just tough for the Warriors fans to see a historic moment like that. Steph has become Mr. Warrior. And I just love when a player gives so much to an organization. And when you think of that player and you think of that organization, you think, they go hand in hand. Just for like Mr. Lakers, Magic, and Kobe, just like Mr. Clipper was Blake Griffin, Mr. Warrior, Rick Barry, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is Mr. Warriors. And we've gotten to see the whole road. I've seen the whole road from 09 to 21. I even doubted him in 2012. I remember in middle school, I said, man, if Steph doesn't have, if Steph can't stop getting those ankle problems, he's never going to even be I think he has a chance to be an all-star. That's what I said. I think he has a chance to be an all-star, but we're never going to see it. Well, boy, did he prove me wrong, man. What a player. And I've been so grateful to see the whole thing. It's been on an unbelievable ride to see arguably the second best point guard to ever play. Yeah, just an absolute wizard, and he does it the right way. The dynasty came to him. He started the dynasty, and great players came to him because they want to play with him. Bro was so good, he started making KD look like he was better than him because he could go one-on-one with no help defense, even though he blew a 3-1 lead. Steph Curry, man. What a legend. A historic performance to pass the great Wilt'S, who, by the way, I must say, though, Wilt did it in 5.5 years, Curry in 12. But, of course, 60s pace caused for some crazy stats. So context is important as well. Congrats to Steph. An awesome win for the Dubs to beat the Nuggets. I'm so thankful for that as a Clipper fan because the Warriors, The Nuggets and the Lakers lost. So, what's it called? Yeah, big time performance by Steph. It was just a joy to watch, especially his off the ball movement. And the more and more he's gotten off ball, the harder he is to stop, honestly. Because when he's on ball, it's easier to stop him. You throw 2 defenders at him or you trap on pick and roll. Simple as that. But with off the ball, he can appear in a bunch of different ways. So Steph Curry, he's had an unbelievable season. Up there, honestly, we could be talking about his second best season of his career at this point. 33 years old. He's averaging 29.9 points, and that I think they haven't even updated the stats for tonight. So after tomorrow, he's going to be averaging 30 points a game again. So Steph Curry, one of the best players of this generation, but one of the best players in history. I'd say when it's all said and done, he will be in that top 20, maybe even that top 15, but for sure the top 20, in my opinion. Anyway, 26-28, the Warriors move on. Nuggets dropped to 34-20. I want to say something about Jamal Murray because that injury did not look good at the end. He was really grimacing in pain and very sad to see because I do like Jamal Murray, even though he torched my team in the playoffs last year. And yeah, it's tough to see that, man. I hope it's not too serious. I would never want to win with injuries. But that being said, I'm a Clipper fan, so I always feel bad for the individual player. Do I feel bad for Nuggets fans or the Nuggets team with this happening? No, because Clippers have been destroyed by injuries since the existence of this franchise. I don't feel bad for any fan base ever about anything, really, because we've gotten injured all the time. So hopefully we get the benefit of some injuries this year. However, I hope Jamal Murray comes back and we all play the playoffs because, you never want to see that. So I hope Jamal Murray comes back. But this could be an opportunity. He's going to miss games. This is a chance for the Clippers to really gain separation here. And we'll see what happens to the Nuggets. I really hope Jamal Murray comes back for the playoffs, though, because this would kill any chance of the Nuggets going to the finals if Jamal Murray's out. Anyway, that's it for me tonight, guys. About 6 minutes short of the 24-minute recap. Thanks for joining me tonight. We're going to go to the live chat. Super chats are turned on. Congrats to Steph Curry. It's been an honor to witness it. Warrior history, Mr. Warrior, the greatest Warrior of all time for me, bar none, because of what he's done to the Warrior brand in this time. Sorry, Rick Barry. Sorry, Wilt. Steph's team, Steph's franchise. But Rick Barry is also a Mr. Warrior himself as well. Thank you and good night. What's good, y'all? I'm not going to spend as much time tonight, so... He already is top 20? For sure? Is that for sure, Raid? Probably, I guess. I'd have to really look at it and think about it because there's a lot of great centers all the time. Lakers blew out the Warriors with a combined score of 60-plus points. The Clippers would never. What are you talking about? KD choked in 2016. There's no denying that. He got outdone completely. Chris, is that you? I didn't get to talk about the Wizards. I didn't really watch the game, but shout out to the Wizards, a dime dropper team that beat the Utah Scum Jazz tonight. Let's give a hand to the Wizards. Everybody's lose. So when that's the Suns are catching up, and the Suns beat the Rockets tonight. No problems. I didn't expect there to be problems. And with the Clippers right now, guys, if you're the Clippers, even though I'm very disappointed, I heard that Kawhi is missing tomorrow's game with soreness. So 2 games in a row misses soreness. I'm really not messing with that because I don't want to lose. I want to keep the momentum going. So Paul George is going back to Indiana, though. So hopefully he has something out for them. He played amazing against them last year in Indiana. And we did win without Kawhi last year. So hopefully we can do the same again, but no Bev or Ibaka. But I really hope we can get that dub, man. I really don't want to lose that one because Philly's not going to be easy, and they're going to have it out for us with Embiid playing, and they lost to us last time, and Glenn got embarrassed because he sucks. But what's it called? Yeah, but congrats to the Wiz, man. Russell Westbrook with a dagger. I saw that. So maybe Utah doesn't get that number 1 seed. You never know. But honestly, I would rather the Suns get the number 2 than Utah. But hey, honestly, I don't. As I said in previous lives, I haven't ruled out the possibility of the Clippers getting the number 1 seed. I think we just got to take it one game at a time and let the chips fall where they may. Tomorrow we got Indiana. Let's see what we can do. Phoenix and Utah, though. Hopefully they can lose some games. Phoenix is looking good though, man. But Utah, hey, maybe they're starting to end of the season slump. What's up, Lake Show? Kobe did not choke a 3-1. He played bad in one game, in game 7, after he came off a 50-point performance where a teammate couldn't get one rebound. And he had carried them the whole season with a bunch of bums in the middle of his prime. If people, let's be honest, guys. Russell Westbrook and Beal, they've had some complaints. They have at least each other, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm coach, but Phil Jackson can coach all he wants. Chris Mim, Kwame Brown, Devin George, Brian Cook. That team smush. Luke Walton and Odom as the second and third best players. That team was not good, man. That team was horrendous. One of the worst teams I've seen a star play with. He dragged him on his back. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think Kobe's 3-1 is even comparable to KD's. It's even comparable to Steph's or Kawhi's. Because when that happened, nobody, I don't remember anybody. I remember people questioning Kobe being too unselfish in game 7 and kind of, honestly, the closest thing Kobe's ever had to a quit job. But nobody said, Kobe blew a 3-1 lead. Can you believe the Lakers lost? It was like, oh my God, the Lakers were so close to pulling off what seemed impossible. Because that LA, nobody was talking about an all LA second round. You know what I'm saying? That was just like a Hail Mary. But after Kobe's game 4 performance, which I'll never forget for the rest of my life, that was absurd. That was incredible. So I think that that's inconsistent. You got to apply some context there. Just my little rant on that. Damn, was hoping for a post game at Lakers Nets. Go back to the last stream, bro. I couldn't watch the Lakers Nets. It wasn't because the Lakers won or lost. I had obligations. I had to do something. I couldn't watch the game, and I didn't feel like rewatching it because I've told you I'm not rewatching as many games anymore because I don't enjoy it as much. I'm just gonna watch the live and that we'll watch everything in the playoffs. But it's too much NDA for me. I don't love this style. Yeah, no, Curry and KD is a good argument. It's definitely arguable. I take Curry, though. What's my favorite moment from Kobe in his career? That's a really good question. I think it's an underrated moment. I think it's one that a lot of people wouldn't go with. But what's it called? Against the Raptors in 2013, and the Lakers I remember this in high school. It was such a big deal when the Lakers weren't going to make the playoffs. I was like, bro, this is the worst blemish on Kobe's resume by far. It's been a terrible season. This is a joke. This is going to be the most disappointing single season team in the history of the league. And Kobe just would not allow them to not make the playoffs. He said, it was just impossible. That wasn't going to happen. I've never seen somebody drag a team like that and just take matters into his own hands after he'd started the season being very patient. And Dwight Howard, he was a head case that season, bro. He started out all right, but oh my God, his problems became problems. And him and Powell could never really work together well like Bynum and Powell. And Kobe against Toronto, the big shot after big shot. Go watch some of the highlights of that game. But I don't know. I think that may have been my favorite Kobe moment. It was just so underrated because he just showed his will to win. Another one I liked was against Phoenix in 2010. Some of the shots he was hitting was just like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So those are some. Game 4, 2006 was incredible as well. The 50-point game streak. There's so many of them. There's just so many. The 2010 season with the 7-game winners. There's a lot. Kwame Brown is a bona fide scrub. Which do I hate more, Jazz or Grizzlies? That's really tough. That's so tough. I'd say right now it's probably even, but historically the Grizzlies, because I just can't stand them. One series doesn't just make an argument. I feel you, Ty Baller, but I think Steph won the championship as the best player with once. KD did not. KD had a great chance to close it out. He choked. Then Curry proceeded to choke someone else. And KD ran to him after he lost. And Curry can play. I mean, both of them play off the ball, but Curry's so good off the ball. And I think that Curry makes players better as well as anybody in today's NBA because of that. And I just think he's so hard to guard. And in my opinion, as crazy as this sounds, I think Curry may just have a little more dog in him. Just a little. Yeah, Kwame Brown had terrible hands. That's why it was such a big noticeable difference when Bynum. I'm sorry, not Bynum. Bynum had pretty good hands too, but Gasol, he had soft hands, and bro, he would take those passes from Kobe underneath and just go up with them. And Powell is definitely one of the better. Just such an upgrade. Yep. Lakers and Clippers was going to happen in 06. And I'll put all my money on the fact that we would have won. Q Ross would have been guarding Kobe. He would have tried his hardest. We would have thrown 2-3 bodies at him. We would have won. They could not stop Elton Brand. They had no answer for him at all. At all. And we had more weapons. Sam Cassell would have outdone Smush. Our bench was so much better than theirs. Sean Livingston would have came in. Oh, my God. We would have beaten them. I promise you would have beaten them, bro. We would not have lost. I'm as confident that we would have beaten the Lakers in 06 as I am that the Warriors probably would have beaten us in 2015 because the fact that we choked against Houston just showed that we didn't have it. In my opinion, the Lakers, talent-wise, they just didn't have it to beat us in 2006. We were too good. Oh, man. That may have been the best Clipper team of all time until this year, honestly, just because of the Lob City team had too many mental midgets. That team was really intelligent. We just got very unlucky that Rajah Bell made that fucking shot. I don't know why Daniel Ewing was in the game. Oh, my God, that pisses me off. I still can't believe that. I hate that shit. Out of all the eras in the NBA history, is this the worst era of all time? Again, you know that this is a subjective question. So that all depends on what you like as a fan. What's your most memorable LeBron performance? Okay, great question. 2 of them stick out in my mind. See, when it comes to LeBron, I got some good ones. The 2007 Game 5, I'll never forget that as long as I live. I was in such awe. I was so happy, too. Unbelievable. He was unconscious that night. Historic performance. And then another one I loved was in my opinion, the turning point of LeBron's career, the 2012 Game 6 at Boston. That showed that LeBron mentally had taken a turn, confidence-wise. He wasn't going to go down that season, not like 2011. And I think that was one of my favorite performances. 2018 Game 7 against Boston, that was, Russell type in terms of playing the whole game and willing your team to win. So I think those are some performances that stick out in my mind. And of course, the 2018 Game 1 was incredible in the finals, but then he kind of quit after overtime. He got discouraged and the momentum was lost. So my all-time Warriors: Curry, Clay, Rick Barry, Nate Thurmond, Wilt, Al Attles, Joe Fultz, Paul Arizin, Tom Gola, Sleepy Floyd, Chris Mullin, Neil Johnston, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond. Very extensive list. Gab Story's always got the extensive lists. You don't have Draymond on there? Nah, Gab, you got to have Draymond on an all-time Warriors list. Come on. I'd have him over Tom Gola because they didn't win a championship. Come on. Yeah. Kobe balled out in 2013. 1983 Sixers, most underrated team of all time. That maybe. They're up there. MP Moses, Dr. J, Mo Cheeks, Andrew Toney, Bobby Jones. Yeah. What about Wilt? No. Mike D'Antoni Lake Show says, Mike D'Antoni wasn't using Power Dwight properly, especially Powell. He don't believe in big men. Only undersized bigs jacking up threes. Kobe yamming on the Nets. That's a good one. Lucas. Nick Batum's burner. Hey, Dime, am I one of your favorite Clippers players? You absolutely are. I'd say you, Rondo first, now that we have him, because I've always loved him. And then you and Terrence next. But I'm a huge fan of Zoo as well. And then Kawhi and Paul George after that are starting to grow on me. And then Serge. I'll take Kawhi and Paul George over Serge now. They'll move up in that ranks. But I don't know if I like them more than Nick, Terrence, and Zoo, and Rondo. Because they still choked. So I still hold resentment towards them for that. And yeah, I do. What's something Steph needs to improve on? Nothing. He's maxed out his talent as a player, and he's as complete as not everybody can post up. That's the only weakness. Like, he can't post up. He's 6'3". Like, come on. Like, we're asking Steph to improve at anything at this point is just begging for too much. He's already completely overcome the odds. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I agree with your take, Andrew M. Curry is greater than KD, but KD was better when they played together because Curry sacrificed the most. I completely agree with that. That's very well said. Yeah, Kobe did beat the Spurs in their prime at their starting center. Bro, Kobe told a story. Kwame told him not pass the ball even when open. Kobe was livid. Told PJ, take Phil Jackson, take him and keep him out. Oh my God. But I honestly think that as a player, KD's skill set is better than Curry's. I feel you. Right. Did you watch the '06 Clippers? Before you say that statement, have you watched us play? Did you watch us? Because I was at a game. I know it's the playoffs, but if the Phoenix Suns could beat them, I think we would have beaten them. Because I was at a game that season, Clippers Lakers. We beat them by 20 points. Like, now I'm not saying that guarantees anything, but I'm just saying we had their number. They couldn't stop Elton Brand. They couldn't stop Elton Brand. Most memorable Clipper game, Game 7 against San Antonio, and then Game 7 against Golden State, and then Game 1 against Memphis, and then Game 2 against Golden State in 2019. So there's some right there. 2016 Steph or 2021 Steph? 2016 Steph had a little more pep in his step, but this one's really good too. 2013 Game 7, LeBron is underrated. That is a great performance. He was awesome that night. What do you think the '08 Celtics would rank in today's NBA? That'd be really fucking good. That's what I think they do. They put Garnett at the 5 and just play small ball, or they would not play small ball and just bully teams that with their way of playing. Just run Perkins and Pierce and pick and rolls and have Garnett stretch to the far corner. Or put Posey in there and go small. Like, they could do so many things with that team. I think that they would be really good. I think they'd be really good. Their defense was way better than any team now. I mean, yeah, James Posey and Eddie House in today's NBA would be even more valuable, and so would Posey. Posey would be a starter. Posey was a bench warmer in '06, but he'd be a starter today for sure. No question in my mind, he'd be a starter. That Celtics team would be really good. They would just. Here's the thing: it's funny because people say like, "Oh, these teams wouldn't be able to play their way." Okay, they would just adapt with their personnel. Like, team in the 2000s has the personnel. And here's the thing: they could maybe make teams adjust to their style because you can't switch everything on Kevin Garnett. He will actually destroy you. Especially that Kevin Garnett in '08 when he was still good. Like, really, still great. Nah, Jason Richardson's great, but he's not an all-time Warrior. Warriors have had enough All-Stars where I don't think he can make the team. What do I think of Tracy McGrady? He was one of my favorite players as a kid. T-Mac's great. He did kind of underachieve as a leader, though, winning-wise, but I love T-Mac. Didn't that Sixers team win like 63 games? I don't know. But the 67 Sixers has a claim in itself to be one of the best teams of all time as well. They were 69 and 68 and 13? Is Steph Curry to blame for everyone just chucking threes? I wouldn't say he's to blame. I mean, I think he's the cause, and the Warriors in general with Curry and Draymond and Steve Kerr. But it's just like, the league became very ISO-centric after Mike, or, when Mike was playing, towards the end of Mike and then, some parts of the 2000s. And that's not necessarily his fault. He was a great ISO player, but, nah. Prime D Rose or prime Chris Paul? Prime D Rose, man. And I used to hate this comparison because I was a huge Chris Paul fan. I was biased, and I used to hate on D Rose kind of because of the comparisons. But I'm not going to lie. Prime D Rose was better. Prime D Rose was something else. If you didn't watch him, I feel bad for you because he was so explosive. His mid-range was really good, and his handle was nasty, and he could elevate at the rim. And I remember in 2012, it was Chris Paul's first home game with the Clippers. I was really hoping he would, he low-key got dogged. Like, Chris Paul, the one thing I'll say about him, he's a slightly overrated defender. He used to get torched by quick guards. Like Jeff Teague, he used to give him problems no matter what team he was on. I don't know why, but it's just quick guards, like Westbrook. Like, he used to just get blown by. Tony Parker, oh my fucking God. We're not going to get into that. Dime, top 5 worst Clippers of all time you can't stand. I didn't like Ryan Hollins that much because he just fouled a lot. Sometimes DeAndre Jordan was unbearable, but I still have love for DJ. JJ Redick, because he used to always underperform in the playoffs. Spencer Hawes, oh my God, fuck him. He was such a disappointment. I I wasn't a huge. I don't think Wilson Chandler or Pat Patterson or Garrett Temple were that good. Zach Randolph, I can't stand, even though he was a Clipper, but I loved him with the Clippers, but I don't fuck with him anymore because he went to Memphis and became our biggest nemesis. I didn't really dislike any Clippers though when I was young when we were bad because it's like I expected us to not be that good. So I didn't really, and I was a kid. So like you're a lot more optimistic and you notice the good things a lot better, but you can't break down the bad things as well. So I guess some of those are Magic or Steph, and is it close? No, it's not fucking close. Only like I guess you could say their offensive impact is close, just looking at like the data and stuff. But no, because in big moments, Magic Johnson's 6'9". It's hard to limit bigger players, guys. You throw two bodies at Steph, he can't really see over the D like that. He has to give up the ball. Magic can post up and hit hook shots with both hands. And when we're talking about a point guard, Steph can get you a good shot running off the ball and stuff. But when you're talking about a point guard setting the tone and pace of a team, Magic Johnson is the best in history when it comes to that. And he completely will change the pace of your game. Like Steph Curry controls pace very well too, but Magic may be like the best player in history at controlling pace. He literally fluctuated pace for an entire era of basketball because of the way that he grabbed the rebound and just gunned it. And like just the way he would dribble in traffic and in tight congested areas. And Magic has bigger playoff performances. He had a finals MVP at age 20. Steph doesn't even have one now. Even though I don't like holding the finals MVP shit against Steph, I think Magic performed bigger in bigger moments than Steph. And I'm not saying Steph is a choker or anything like that. But like, here's the difference to me. And you can say injuries all you want, but Steph Curry in the biggest game of his life. I love Steph Curry, but in the biggest game of his life, he blew it. Completely blew it. Magic Johnson in the biggest game of his life at the time, he completely overdid what was expected of him to take the Lakers and win that game. And that was a close game. A couple things went differently. Sixers could have forced a game 7 there. But the plays, every time the Sixers would make a play, he would just shut them. I've never seen that composure of a 20-year-old. You also have to remember, Steph Curry is an overachiever. He came into the league from Davidson. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wasn't expected to do this, and he completely overachieved. Magic Johnson was a prodigy. He changed the game of basketball. He was the first of his kind. And so is Steph, with all due respect. But Steph hasn't accomplished as much as Magic. And Steph had a foregone conclusion to win titles. I'm not saying Magic didn't have stacked teams. He for sure did. But Magic had to play against teams like the Celtics. The Warriors, in a million years, there's no team that Steph Curry has ever played that is even close to the Celtics with Bird and McHale and Parrish and DJ. None of them. And Steph Curry, you know, he is amazing. But the rules obviously in favor of the guard now, so it's hard to compare. I don't know what Magic offensively would be when you can't touch him as much on the perimeter. I don't know what he would be. I just think Magic's versatility is so big, and it's just Magic Johnson, man. Like Steph Curry is unfair too, but Magic, when you watch him play, he has this sort of superiority over his competition in terms of like the fact that he's literally just, I've never seen a player look like he's playing around with teams like that ever in my life. LeBron has some moments like that now when he's a little older and so much smarter than everybody. But Magic, he just takes it to another level. But there's the answer to that. Would I rather have Donovan Mitchell or Lillard? I would rather have Lillard. I don't think it's arguable, really. I think Steph needs to win another. He needs to win a real legit after 2015 championship as the best player for me to say that he is even that he's gonna have an argument with Magic Johnson. Kawhi or Pippen all time? Kawhi. There's an argument for Pippen, but I think Kawhi. Yeah, Rondo's game 2 against Miami was insane. Yes, Andrew M. I saw that. Thinking basketball has a definite bias towards Kevin Garnett. There's no question. I've seen that. Yes, I need that 06 Clips revenge from the Suns. I want the Suns. No, Raid, did you answer my question? Did you watch the 06 Clippers or not? I need the answer because you can't say it's the Clippers at the end of the day. You need to give me the answer. That was Sam. That team had more experience. Worst Clippers, the Candy Man. Never Nervous, Purvis Ellison, Benoit Benjamin. Oh, Baron Davis. I love Baron Davis as a human and as a player, not for the Clippers. He was totally disappointing. Yeah, analytics is a good point, Lake Show, about more to blame than Curry. I like that, Mr. Zeke. Lillard is clutch, but in my opinion, this year, Jimmy has been the clutchest this year. Dude comes in the fourth with 10 points, then gets 28 at the end of the game. Yeah, Clipper Paul Pierce was a scan. Gachali and Andre Ismail. Beluga, did you think there was a chance Kobe went to the Clippers? No, I did not. I never thought that. Patrick Patterson, yes. Do I hate Michael Olowokandi? More so disappointed at the front office for picking him. 2016 Braun or 2013 Braun? 2013 Braun, probably. It's close. 2016 Braun had more confidence, was better on the ball, better shooter. 2013 Braun, more well-rounded, higher motor, better defense. So probably 2013, but it's really close. I don't know. I'm big on confidence. No, Curry's great, but I think if I was in the 8, this is what I would do to Curry if I was a coach in the 90s. I would attack his ass on defense every time by running him through a bunch of off-ball screens and making like my big guys check him every time. If you go back and watch the 2016 finals, they were letting the Cavs get away with a lot, and they were bumping his ass all the time, running Kyrie Irving through screens. So I would do that for one. And then if I had a bigger guard like a Mark Jackson type bully or Ron Harper, I would post his ass up every fucking play. And then I would just pick Curry up full court and then send a double at him or send a second defender. If the second he gets by my hand check, and obviously hand check the shit out of him, and then off the ball, tug his jersey, just do whatever you can. And back in the day with less freedom of movement, it would not be the same. I love Curry. I think he'd still be amazing. He'd be like Mahmoud, a slightly better Mahmoud in the 90s to me, or like in the past. But like, I don't think he has the same impact he has now. No chance. No chance that a guard can dominate like this in the past. No way. Not taking shots like that. Oscar Robertson and Jerry West took like contested mid-rangers, like pulling up like dudes draped all over them. And I think that Curry could possibly do that, but it's a total change. You would have to adapt. It's stupid to do the time machine, but all I'm saying is this. He definitely benefits off the rule changes. I remember when I still met a guy who lived in New York. I mean, Wilson Chandler always smelled like weed. He looks like a stoner completely. Yeah, Skyhook is totally overpowered. Joseph C. That's facts. Rookie Magic, greater than your favorite player in his prime. Why do you say that? You can't classify Magic as a real point guard because of his height? There's never been a prerequisite that you have to be that size. Magic played as much like a point guard as anybody that's ever played. How can you say that? He literally controlled pace better than anyone. He's the best passer to ever play the game. I don't, Ty Baller. I don't think LeBron would have gotten to run the point forward role if guys like Odom, Magic, Pippen, Grant Hill, those guys didn't do it. Marcus Johnson, these different types of players. I think that the guys set the path before him. Are Timberwolves really worse than the Clippers, Nick Batum's burner? Wilson Santos, you asked me thoughts on the Warriors Kawhi rumors. Not answering that. All-time, which defender do you think would guard LeBron best? Rodman, Pippen, or Bobby Jones? Pippen. I think Pippen is like watching him play defense. He'd be the perfect guy to put on LeBron. LeBron's a little stronger for sure, but I think he'd be ideally the perfect guy. 2018 LeBron is, I don't think it's his most complete season. I think he was the best offensively in his confidence peak and his shooting peak. Offensive peak. I don't think it's his most complete. 2013 is the most complete LeBron to me. If Magic's not a point guard, then Wilt was celibate. All right, guys. I'm out for tonight. Peace out. 44 minutes on some West. Shout out Lucas on our production team. 2-time guest. Peace out.